We're Bison! We are Impacted! We're Bison! We're ready to get up! We want to win! Light the fire of power and make us free! We never break down! We want to win! We are Impacted! The best team!
Hello and welcome back to TNI-UK Impacted, coming to you live via the Total Nonstop Impact Network on YouTube and Twitch. I'm your host Bison, and today I'm joined by, of course, the one and only Joker and the man simply known as Steve. Hi guys, how are you this week?
All the tears have dried and all the shock is still setting in. How are you?
Oh mate, I'm good. Been very excited since obviously my man Josh Alexander won the Impact World title on the weekend. Very excited about all of that, and of course, you know, the world champion is here. He's here today. He wanted to pop in and say hello. With much further ado, please welcome Josh Alexander. Hello, everyone. How are you? How are you doing?
Don't break my ankle.
Here's Josh Alexander, Impact World Champion here. Yes. Total legend. Anyway, boys, all the best. Take care. Bye. There you go. How about that, guys? Josh, Impact World Champion, Josh Alexander on TNI UK today. How fantastic was that? Hey, how fantastic was that? Great to see him. Only for a split second, but it was definitely worth it. It was worth every second. That was fantastic. Anyway, guys, we've got one hell of a show here for you guys. Can I just say, everyone that's in the chat right now, make sure that you hit that thumbs up button, because I know you guys love the show because you keep coming back week after week. So hit that thumbs up button right now. Let everybody know how cool the show is. And also, why not share it on Twitter, on Facebook? Let everybody know that the show is live right now and to come and check us out.
Maybe much appreciated, guys.
Yeah, we do. We appreciate what you guys do for us. And I quite often, once the show's finished, I see so many of you guys posting us around and, you know, trying to get people to watch the show and stuff. It's fantastic. We really appreciate all your efforts. It means an awful lot, really. It means an awful lot to us. Exactly. Who's that? Oh, Bonus Baby. We are impacted. There is no doubt about that. We're all impacted. Part of the TNI tribe, the TNI family. Oh, tell you what's interesting, actually, boys. What Trent was saying earlier in our little chat, because we've got a little family chat, guys. So it looks like the boss, you know, the legend that is Trent, might be heading over the pond to the UK later on this year. So who knows? We might end up with a bit of a family reunion going on here in the UK, which would be quite cool.
Yeah.
Thinking about
listening is J-Bone.
Yes, we just need a bit of J-Bone. I'd love it if Kyle would come over as well.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Get Mr. Gardner over as well for you know, come and sit ringside at a show somewhere. That'd be pretty cool.
Definitely.
Yeah. You know, even Uncle Mark. It'd be nice to see Uncle Mark over here. That would be cool as well. It'd be good. No, it'd be great to have people pop over. It's going to be good to see Trent as well. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, it should be good. Now, guys, we've got a massively packed show this week. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Rebellion. But I think the first thing we need to do is we need to have a quick blast through some of the news and rumors that we've got going on at the moment in the world of Impact Wrestling and pro wrestling in general. So first things first, let's talk about Slammiversary. Obviously, it's been put out there. We got Slammiversary. The tickets are now going to go on sale on Friday the 29th. So later on this week, Friday the 29th. The venue has not actually been announced, but it is rumored to be at the Nashville Fairgrounds. And there you go. Terrence is putting it up there as well. He's already put in that one. He's already put in that. Yeah, you're right. I'm not too sure they'll let the scumbag in. To be fair, Mary, you're probably right.
I don't know. Have you not seen who's in charge, Mia?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You have seen who's in charge of this country right now. But anyway, so it's going to be the big rumor is that it's going to be at the Nashville Fairgrounds. I know that someone's been throwing some stuff around Twitter recently with regards. They've seen it on an official ticket site. It's on there, but it hasn't actually officially been announced. Great venue. I'm not sure how many it holds, but I think it'd be a great venue, and it's a good way to sort of kind of celebrate 20 years of Impact Wrestling on the site of the Fairgrounds, which I think would be great. We got Maria Kanellis Bennett. It's been offered an extension, but no news on if she's actually taken that at the moment. I guess she's got to be looking at and weighing up all of her options. I mean, we know that she's being part of that brand spanking new female promotion that's going on at the moment. What was that one called? I can't remember.
Oh God, I saw it because Taya Valkyrie and Tasha Steelz have gone to there as well.
Yeah, but what I liked about it was the way that when Tasha was announced to be on there, that it was the Impact Knockouts champion. Yeah, I like that.
Taya Valkyrie's represent AAA there. They're all allowed to bring their own merits with them. That's great to see. I just can't remember the name of the promotion.
Yeah,
let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you guys
can remember that. But that's great. I mean, and I know that she's probably holding out for some sort of offer with regards to Tony Khan at Ring of Honor.
That's it, yeah.
Ring of Honor.
Women's World Army.
There you go, Women's World Army. There you go. That should be pretty cool. That should be
happy birthday to you too, J-Bone, for yesterday.
Oh yes, happy birthday to the Bone Man.
Happy birthday to the Bone Man.
Nice little reminder there. So that looks quite good. Something else which I really liked, and I don't remember them doing this previously, but Fight TV were doing interviews at Rebellion, and there was a reveal on there that Taya stating she is back with Impact Wrestling, yet her profile, like I said, has been removed from the roster page. I thought was kind of a bit weird. And it's not the only time, because she mentioned it in another after Rebellion promo that she did for Impact as well, that she is so pleased to be back with her family. Now, I really like that. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
So that's interesting stuff, and I hope that sort of kind of gets a little bit more momentum going with that as well. So good to see Taya Valkyrie back, and she looked fantastic in her win against Deonna Purrazzo. I think we already discussed this last week, that we thought that was going to happen based on the fact that Deonna has been holding that title for so long, but it's not actually been on the Triple H show for like nearly a year or something crazy. So I'm sure that was the reason it was sort of kind of like going back. There's lots of debate in the moment. For reals. Lots of debate on if Tony Khan is pulling talents, including Gresham from Rebellion, as he had been announced. He was actually cleared. I think it was like the day before. But who knows what's going on there. If he is, he's just basically being an arse, I guess.
That son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that Joe's got some words on this one. Go on, Joe.
Yeah, if I seriously do believe that Jonathan Gresham's situation was injury related, and him not competing was just to make sure this injury doesn't get worse. But I've seen things going around, but Tony Khan pulled like 12 other guys out from GCW, and two of them are like champions on GCW, and he's pulled them out for this whole thing to go with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So what does that tell New Japan Pro Wrestling about what the hell Tony Khan's got in mind for their Forbidden Door fucking promotion that's coming? Yeah. That's just Tony Khan. He wouldn't let he won't let Deonna Purrazzo wrestle there and beat the shit out of his talent. So, oh god, it's just working me up. Steve, you might as well go on before I.
No, I was going to say this joint event that New Japan and AEW have got that's supposedly coming up is going to be very interesting. You really can't see any New Japan talent going over in that event, can you?
Not really, no. Not unless they're really close friends with Kenny Omega or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have said TK was a DH. Mere rather than a DK, I'd say definitely is a DH, short for Dick Head.
Yeah, well,
but there you go.
no one likes Donkey Kong either, so
yeah. But anyway, Hakeem's in the house. Nice to see you, buddy. Don't forget to plug your latest article. I'm sure everyone's interested in that. So interesting stuff going on there with AEW, Tony Khan pulling people, but we just have to wait and see, I guess. Impact has a survey on their website asking who was the most influential wrestlers in the 20-year history of the company. Head on over www.impactwrestling.com. Go and check that out. It's in the news section. Just click on that and go and put your favorites in there. Who you think were the most influential? I think one of them is like World Champ, Tag Team, Knockout, X Division, that kind of stuff. Just go and head over there and fill out the survey. I'm sure this is obviously something to do with upcoming Slammiversary, so get stuck into that. That'd be really cool. There's a media tour in Cincinnati to promote Under Siege, and of course TV tapings in Newport with Moose and Deanna. I think it's this Thursday and Friday. So if you guys are in the area, go and check out what they're up to. That'd be quite cool. I don't know where they're going to be, but keep an eye out. I'm sure that they'll be promoting that. And we've got Josh Alexander to face Mike Bailey at Wrestling Revolver at the Vegas show on May the 28th. Plus, Matt Cardona's also been announced for this show. To be fair, this show is stacked, right? Yeah. Absolutely stacked with some top talent, whether it be AEW, Impact Wrestling, just absolutely stacked. So very, very interesting. Please make sure you get on that. That show will obviously be available on Fight TV. So if you want to watch that show, make sure you do, because I couldn't recommend Wrestling Revolver much. It's definitely now my second favorite wrestling promotion.
Yeah, Mike Bailey versus Moose last time, man, was absolutely insane.
Phenomenal. You had the Jake Chris match as well, which was phenomenal. Yeah. It allows me to get to see my buddy Jake wrestle.
Yeah, it's good to see.
That's the main thing. That's the main thing. So great to see Jake wrestling for Wrestling Revolver. I still think there's a chance he might be coming back with Sammy, but that's another story. We'll talk about that a bit later. So NWA announced that they have a pay-per-view show named after its champion Matt Cardona, called Always Ready. This looks interesting. I might actually buy this one. Because I'm actually slowly becoming a bit of a secret Matt Cardona fan.
What the truth is, you're nothing but a mid Cardona.
Maybe NWA should have another show, just call it Wrestling God.
Yeah.
Wrestling God. That'd be quite cool. So that's interesting. See where that one all sort of kind of goes. I'm looking forward to that. We then got announced just not too long ago, probably about an hour or so ago, the Inspiration move away from in-ring to look at other options for their careers. Sad. But what I like is that on their way out, they've put over Impact Wrestling. They have not. They've literally said how much they love working there, and the talents are great, the business is great. They loved it, which is great because they're putting the company over and they don't need to. They don't need to, but they are. I think that's fantastic. What's this massive one? What's this? Yeah, it is sad. Yeah, it is sad, but.
It's interesting as well. I say any chance that Anthem could buy Shine and merge it for the Knockouts 1 hour weekly. That's an interesting one.
Sounds a great idea. That sounds a great idea. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Why not? Yeah. But yeah, like I say, it's a shame. But like I say, at least we had them for a good 6 months, and I enjoyed them for that 6 months. You know?
So did I.
And I would be stunned if this is the end of the Inspiration in Impact. You know, maybe it'll take 2 years for them to come back, but I would be stunned if this is the last we see of them.
Yeah, so I totally agree with that. Can I just say a quick? Courtney is obviously not too interested in us today. She's busy watching Netflix, it seems.
Oh God!
Yeah,
I got the satire on just for you, love.
yeah,
You know?
totally,
All
totally.
the new bling in today.
How disappointing!
Yeah.
How disappointing!
Yeah.
We're not more interested in Netflix.
No, I gave my thoughts out to the inspiration after I saw this on Twitter. You know, they come from WWE, they got redemption, and they got more respect given to them in the 6 months they were at Impact Wrestling than they had at WWE from the fans, not the company itself. I'm talking about the fans. You know, I hope they do come back. I don't think this is the end of them in the ring totally. Like I said, it's for the foreseeable future. So it's not they're stopping wrestling altogether. There's obviously other things going on back home that they want to get done just now. So I think we could see them back. And if they do come back, the door is open in Impact Wrestling for sure.
Oh yeah.
I think they're probably looking at other avenues. I mean, they've been doing a lot of sort of kind of modeling stuff, haven't they? And of course, you know, you've got to remember this stuff. They've got quite a short shelf life when it comes to that side of things, and you know they're not like teenagers anymore.
No.
You know, so it'd be. Go on, sorry, Steve. What you
I was going to say one thing I will say is the Knockouts tag titles cannot catch a break right now. You know, they bring in, they have 2 teams, and then in order to bring one in, one leaves. There just does not seem to be any more than two Knockouts tag teams in the picture at once.
Yeah, I mean,
it
is a shame. It is a shame, but at the end of the day, like I was saying to Joe earlier, you know, Inspiration Go, they were probably getting a big pay packet. All that does is open up opportunities for other stars to come in. We know that.
Oh,
This is exactly how Impact Wrestling work. They've worked this way for a long time. I mean, look at, you know, there's a potential maybe Mia Yim can come in, maybe Athena can come in, or, you know, there's a former Ring of Honor talent, Vita Van Star, expressing interest in working with Impact at the moment. You know, former Righteous member of the Righteous, you know, with Vincent. So, you know, there's opportunities that will be opening up. I would imagine
Sienna and Marty Bellog too. I want to see come in.
There you go.
An established team to come in to at least bolster it for a while, because Rosemary seems to be distracted with Tasha Seals at the moment, and possibly Taya Valkyrie if you've seen her recent messages on Twitter.
Yeah. I think, you know, at the end of the day, what we know with Impact Wrestling is, you know, this is something that's not come as a surprise to them. They would have known that this was happening, you know, and if that's the case, then, you know, they will be putting plans in place. You know, so either somebody will turn up at the TV tapings, or, you know, we'll get some debuts at the next special. You know, something will happen, and it'll all look great again. And as it always does, you know. So I'm not too bothered. You know, it's a shame because it was nice that they came in. They had a good 6 months, and we've enjoyed them. You know, good luck to them and whatever it is that they do, really. But like you said, I mean, Anna said it as well. I mean, they've been out of action a couple of times. Has there been any sort of nagging injuries or anything like that? You know, you don't know, do you? So, you know, let's just wish them luck and hope that maybe, you know, down the line they make a return, which would be really cool.
Yeah, they cross the line back over.
Exactly.
Full pun intended.
Exactly. But I'd be very much interested in seeing Vita Von Star turn up on Impact. I think her and maybe her and Vincent getting back together and you know, recreating the Righteous would be quite cool. It'd be different. Again, loads of different wrestlers to sort of kind of go up against. So there's lots of stuff that can go on there. I mean, I hear people on Twitter like, "Oh my God, that's got to be the end of the Knockouts Tag Championships now." No, why? You know, you just bring in more teams. It's just the way it is. Like, calm down. But there's plenty out there. You know, what about the Sea Stars? We could maybe see the Sea Stars come back. I mean, there's
I'd love to see them again. They were
I would
fantastic.
love, yeah. We've heard nothing from them ever since the start.
No, there's loads of opportunity, and you're right. You know, you've got the is it Hex? The Hex, what you're talking about?
Yeah,
the Hex, yeah.
as we're now, having working relationships with NWA, it seems, why couldn't they come in and do a little stint or whatever? That's what we need. We just need people to turn up and do their thing. But guys, let's get cracking onto this review, shall we?
Yes, let's finally get stuck in, shall we? I think
let's get stuck into the review, right? So, obviously, the review starts off with the countdown to Rebellion. The show gets kicked off with Eddie Edwards of Honor No More, obviously, versus Chris Bay and the Bullet Club. And this is basically how it goes. Eddie Edwards battles Chris Bay to kick things off the countdown show. Bay tries to play mind games with Edwards, but that angers the leader of Honor No More as he delivers a stiff chop to the chest. We do love a good stiff chop. Edwards remains in control with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. He loves those. Bay super kicks him off the apron. That was interesting. Then soars over the top rope to the floor. Bay hits a diving lariat from the top rope. Edwards plants him face first into the mat, but Bay reverses and a follow-up Tiger Driver into the panning predicament for 2. Edwards connects with a backpack stunner, which is good, cool, for a near fall of his own. Bay reverses the Blue Thunder Bomb into a cutter. Edwards hits the Tiger Driver again, followed by the Die Hard Driver to put Bo away 1, 2, 3. Eddie Edwards wins against Chris Bay. What were your thoughts on this one, guys? I thought this was a good opening match. I have to say, I think it was pretty solid. Let's go with Joe.
Okay,
let's go with Steve then.
Go with Steve.
Yeah. No, I like you say this was a fantastic match, and I thought this was a great way to kick off the countdown to glory, and the history that Honor No More and the Bullet Club have really paid into this story, and I thought commentary as well did an absolute brilliant job of adding some flavor into this match as well. I thought Chris Bay really shined in this match, and going toe to toe with Eddie Edwards really, because we've all said, haven't we, that Chris Bay is slowly just becoming, another wrestler. The shine of the Bullet Club is wearing off, but it kind of showed now. Actually, it's still there. It's taken him up another level.
The thing is with the Bullet Club though is it's always going to be his resume, and we all know that's a real good thing to have, right?
Yeah, you saw in this match that what it's done for him. And he shines so much, and I want to see a feud now between Chris Bay and Eddie Edwards after this one single match. They were that good together. They really were.
Yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing with that.
I can see that coming until Sammy comes back. Eddie Edwards and Chris Bay going back and forth until Sammy Callahan comes back.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Look at Bonus Baby. But Eddie could wrestle a garbage can lid and it would be fire. You're right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what he does. He's just bloody awesome. You got TJB. He thinks Impact should create a secondary singles title for knockouts and scrap the tag titles. Not sure on that one, but who knows? It could be interesting. So Eddie Edwards was the only member of Honor No More or Bullet Club to win a match Saturday night. That's interesting. What were your thoughts on this one, Joe? What were your thoughts on this one?
I love this match, and like Steve said, the commentary really helped keep this alive, because I was so frustrated with the old issue with Jonathan Gresham. But that issue aside, it did knock. This match was all meant to be on the main card, so it coming down to the pre-show, it just made sense why it was there, because Chris Bay was not as a main event star as Jonathan Gresham was, so that made sense to me. But like Steve said, the Bullet Club has brought out the best in Chris Bay, and now we're finally seeing it. And the commentary was fantastic. They helped carry the match along. Not that the match was boring. They just helped put everything into perspective. They got all the moves called right. So we saw a lot of stuff from Chris Bay which we've not seen for a long time or ever. And Eddie Edwards, he hasn't gone for the Die Hard Driver and executed it for ages. So we got that built up properly. We got to hear about the history of Eddie Edwards in Japan. Chris Bay worked with the Bullet Club and everything he's done. And it was just a solid back and forth match, really, really well put together. And Eddie Edwards getting the win with that finish over the Boston Knee Party was really good to see too.
Yeah, something different again. Who's seen Michelle? Is that Gronenwagen? She say Jordan Grace has a new tag team. That's right. There you go. There's a new tag team. We could have, Jordan Grace and W Morrissey versus versus the Influence. That'd be quite cool. What do you think?
I think the days of ODB and Eric Young are gone, but Jordan Grace and W Morrissey could take on Violent by Design, no problem.
Yeah, I agree. So we then move on from the opening match. We then get the Knockouts World Tag Team Championship, and that was obviously the Influence as the champion versus the Inspiration. And this one went down like this. Basically, the Inspiration received their contractually obliged rematch for the Knockouts World Tag Team titles. The Influence attacked the Inspiration during their entrance, but Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay quickly turned the tide. Dashwood traps Lee upside down in the corner, then pulls her hair as Rain delivers a series of strikes. We like a good hair pulling, don't we? The pace quickens as McKay meets Rain head-to-head in the middle of the ring. McKay takes out both members of the Influence with some unique offense. Rain then sends McKay crashing into her own partner. Dashwood hits the spotlight kick on Lee for a very clear close near fall. Lee hits Dashwood with a signature spin kick, but it's not enough. The Influence counter the Idolizer into the collab to retain the Knockouts World Tag Team titles. So the Influence then defeat the Inspiration to retain the championship. I think this was a shock, and I guess based on the news that we found out today, there is a reason why. I honestly thought that the Influence, the Inspiration were going to regain, but when you find out the news today, now you know exactly why. But I mean, I thought this was a pretty good match. To be fair, I mean, the Inspiration came out in there. I thought they looked a bit like Catwoman, but apparently they were inspired by Britney Spears or something. So and I tell you what, okay. I mean, I thought they looked great. I've got to say, I thought they looked great. Anyway, let's just keep hearing from the champ every now and again there. What were your thoughts on this? So I'm going to go with Joe first.
This was a really solid match from both of them. It was good to see Cassie Lee back in the ring again after a couple of weeks away from injury or something else had come up which kept her out of the ring. So it was good to see her in one final match. And again, Tennille Dashwood really shone through in this match as well. It just it was a solid match, and there's I think I can't remember who I predicted to win. I think I predicted the Influence to retain. So it didn't surprise me that they retained, but it was still because if they would have lost it now, it would have been too soon for them to lose it, and it would just been going back and forth too soon. We need another good solid run from a tag team like we had with Fire and Flavor, with the Knockouts tag team titles to at least give them some merit. Because at the moment the whole thing's pancaked with to put it apart from the Influence or the Inspiration. Sorry, I'm getting the fucking names mixed up still.
That's true. What about you, Steve? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I always like a match that's driven by character, and these two teams just ooze that. So I was fully invested in this match, but I wasn't too surprised by the outcome because for me, I felt the match was kind of cemented when Caleb was no longer involved in the story. I felt he was the one that was kind of depicting the outcome. You felt that which side he chose would kind of determine the winner. So as soon as he was no longer involved in the story, you're like, well, the Influence are retaining.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so obviously they did. So
exactly. Yeah.
I did think that it was going to be a shock and have the Inspiration win when the first belt slid into the ring. I thought, oh shit, Madison Rain's going to end up with balls and miss out rather than it being Caleb cocking out. But then when the referee took that belt out and the second belt came in the ring, I forgot that there was two titles in this match.
I will say, as soon when the title got brought in and Cassie kicked out, I was like, maybe they will win, because it's not very often you see a kick out from a title shot.
Yeah. I think this. I don't know. Either way, I think this was a well constructed match.
Yes.
The story being told was really good, and regardless of anything else, I mean, you had some. They're all top talents in that ring. They're all top talents. They did a fantastic job. Well, except for Tennille Dashwood, but I think Madison carried her really well. That's the main thing. Of course, she is a 5 times knockout champion, mate. 5.
Yeah.
5. Yeah, she's a 5-time knockouts champ.
Yeah.
So you got to add a few extra rings.
And you've got to admit to follow a match with Eddie Edwards and to say they dumped, it was a good match. That's something.
Yeah, without doubt. Yeah, exactly. No, I totally agree with that. So we then
good call, Violet.
Yeah, definitely. We then move on to the actual show itself, Rebellion, and we then kick off with one of my favorite types of matches, obviously a triple threat match with Jay White versus Steve Macklin versus Chris Sabin. Now we talked about this one, I think, last week, and we were saying that we thought this was going to be an absolute cracker. We thought that Steve was gonna go over, which he did. And we thought that this was going to probably be like the bolstering that Steve Macklin needs to take him to the next level. So let me give you a quick rundown on the match. So basically, White retreats to the outside in the opening moments of the match, leaving Sabin and Macklin to duke it out. Macklin dives under the middle rope, colliding with Sabin on the floor. White drops Sabin face first on the hardest part of the ring. That was pretty badass. Then drives Macklin into a steel ring post. White remains in control with a suplex to Macklin on the outside. Sabin takes out both of his opponents with a top rope crossbody. Sabin spin kicks Macklin while delivering a tornado DDT to White. That was awesome. Then moments later, White comes back from the Uranagi to White. Macklin catches White in the crosshairs, but when he attempts to do the same to Sabin, the Motor City Machine Gun avoids incoming assault, sending Macklin flying to the floor. Sabin then counters the Blade Runner from White into a roll up for the 2. Sabin hits the Cradle Shock, and White put Macklin on White, but Macklin sneaks in with the pin on Sabin to score the victory. I have to say, Macklin was awesome. The face paint, the jacket. It did remind me a little bit of when he was at New Japan Pro Wrestling. I've forgotten his name. Oh, what's his name? The one that ended up going to WWE and they didn't really do anything with him. He used to wear all the face paint and everything. Oh, he's an Irish guy.
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor. That's it. He did remind me a little bit of Finn Balor.
I thought that was what Macklin was going for, because obviously he was the first leader of the Bullet Club. So I thought Macklin was using that to get into Jay White's head.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, maybe. Don't know. But he came out, he had the Punisher face paint, he had a real good badass look about him. I think he looked amazing. And of course there was a backstage interview with him that they put out today on Facebook as well, and he came across awesome. Big fan of Steve Macklin. Tag him and bag him, mayhem for all. What are your thoughts on this then? Let's go with Steve first.
Yeah, this I was very surprised this opened the show, I'll be honest. But it was a hot way to open the show. All three, you knew all three men were going to bring it, and they did. Easy possible match of the night. And I think we all felt Macklin was going to win, but coming to the end of the match, either man could win it. Macklin was on fire. He looked fantastic. I kind of wanted to keep the face paint look because it really brings something out of him. Sabin always brings 5-star matches, and pay-per-views, he seems to turn it up to 6-star matches.
Yeah.
I must admit, when he hit that Cradle Shock, I thought he was going to win. I thought he had it.
Yeah, it's weird. There was probably about 3 or 4 different points in the in the match where he thought somebody was going to win it, whether it be White, whether it be Saban or Macklin. That was all part of the really good storytelling that was going on in this match.
Yeah.
What did you think, Joe?
Yeah.
This was an incredible match. Steve, like you said, Steve Macklin stole the show in this match. He was incredible from the start to finish. And Chris Sabin shone out as well. Jay White just seemed to blend into the background, which is for me, which is a bit of a shame. I'm not saying he wasn't as stand out to me as Chris Sabin or Steve Macklin was, but he did pull off some amazing offense in this match. The way as it came towards the end, it came down that the winner of this was either going to be Steve Macklin or Chris Sabin to me. And when the commentary hinted that the only person to pin Jay White in this match has been Chris Sabin throughout his entire USFJ tour, that had me thinking that either Jay White's going to pin Chris Sabin if Jay White is going to win this match, or Steve Macklin's going to pin Chris Sabin. And when Macklin pulled up that pin, I was surprised he got that, because I was expecting him to hit Mayhem for All and somebody win the match that way, as you would expect a generic finish to go. But this just showed smart wrestling from Steve Macklin throughout the entire match. And Jay White's post-match promo, he's coming for Steve Macklin now. So Steve Macklin could be the second person to beat Jay White during this whole USFJ tour.
Talking about Steve Macklin, I hear he's after my title. Oh, I'm going to have him. I'll have him. I'll take on all comers. I am the world champ.
His post-match promo was fucking brilliant too. Macklin and Josh.
Look at this dumbass.
Yeah, exactly. But there you go. I think I think it was a great match. I think Steve Macklin came out great. I'm looking forward to seeing more from Steve Macklin. I've heard some rumors that they're planning on giving him a push during the summer, so maybe it's starting now, leading up to Slammiversary.
Yeah,
who knows?
Would not be surprised.
No, why would you not? The guy is a 5-star stud. Let's face it. So here, then we get a backstage moment. We got Josh Alexander's wife. They're calling her Jennifer at this time, but obviously we all know that's Jay Chung. Whether her real name's Jennifer, I don't know. I guess it probably is. Anyway, she tells him not to worry about her and their son tonight, and to stay focused on the task at hand, defeating Moose, obviously, for the Impact World Championship. Impact Executive Vice President Scott D'Amore gives Alexander words of encouragement before tonight's personal showdown. So I thought this was quite a cool backstage moment. I thought Jade did a really good job, showed that she can give a promo if she needs to. I thought that was really good. It's nice to see Jade on Impact as well as obviously Jet as well, which is quite cool. But we'll get to that in a second. We then obviously get the next match of the night, which is Deonna Purrazzo versus Taya Valkyrie for the AAA Reign of the Reigners Championship. And obviously, this one was sorted a couple of weeks ago, I guess. This one was set up at the
multiverse
matches. That's right. So anyway, this is how this one went down. Valkyrie hits the running crossbody, followed by a dropkick to gain the early advantage. Taya Valkyrie hits her signature snap German suplex off the ropes, which is badass. Purrazzo brings her momentum to a halt as she begins to wear Valkyrie down in the middle of the ring. Deonna Purrazzo locks in the Koji clutch, but Valkyrie counters into a pinning predicament for a 2 count. Purrazzo sends her back first into the apron with a modified leg sweep. Purrazzo avoids road to Valhalla and follows up with a standing moonsault. Now, have you noticed that she started to add this standing moonsault to her arsenal? We've only seen it probably a couple of times now, but she's obviously added that one in. Purrazzo launches herself off the top rope, but Valkyrie counters into a mid-air powerbomb. That was fucking awesome. Valkyrie then successfully hits Road to Valhalla to dethrone the champ and become the new AAA Reign of the Reigners champion. I thought this was a really good match, and what it showed was that, how different this match was compared to the last time they met, which was the last match that Taya Valkyrie had in Impact Wrestling before she went to the E. I thought this was a good match. I'm going to go with you first, Joe. What were your thoughts on this one?
Taya Valkyrie came back on fire. she had Diana Purrazzo really well scouted in this match. Diana Purrazzo back at Hard to Kill last year. Diana Purrazzo just locked her in the armbar, and the match was pretty much over from after Taya Valkyrie broke out the first armbar. She was injured then, and then of kayfabe injured, and then that was it. Really, the match was just 5 or 10 minutes of Diana Purrazzo trying to break Taya Valkyrie's arm. This was what I hope we would have seen from Taya Valkyrie, but as she was leaving to go elsewhere, to just get a big match to say, "This is who I am. Thank you, goodbye. This is who I am. I'm back. Try and fucking stop me." And Diana Purrazzo as offense is changing more and more. Like you said, with the standing moonsault now, she's just showing everyone that she can do more than just put people into arms and leg locks and snap their arms off. And some of Taya Valkyrie's moves we've not seen for ages as well, or ever before, like that sliding German suplex. I've never seen her do that before on Impact Wrestling or any time I've been able to catch a match on YouTube. I've not seen that before. So we've seen a lot of new stuff from everybody, and it was just so great to see Taya Valkyrie back. And it's listening to her interviews about the match since the multiverse match, and she's been constantly referring to the Impact Wrestling as home. So
she has, and family.
Yeah, home and family, and her winning the Reina de Reinas championship. It was right because it hasn't been back in Mexico for such a long time, and Taya Valkyrie can go to and from Mexico a lot easier than Diana Purrazzo can. So it was felt right that happened, and it was just the best way to move Diana Purrazzo onto sadly darker road now, because we know her time as Ring of Honor champions on a bloody pendulum of death. So
yeah.
Until the
what about you?
Takes it.
What were your thoughts on this one, Steve?
Yeah, I thought this was a really good match, and it was a nice way to it was a nice match to bring Taya back into. You know, it kind of reintroduced the feud that Taya had when she left. So there wasn't really much story that was needed, because it was just reigniting what was already there, and you could feel the heat that was between them. I'd say it was probably on par with the Knockouts tag match. If I'm being honest, I don't think they went into full gear. I feel like they were saving something for another match that they're probably going to have later.
Yeah, you said to me that on the night.
Yeah,
when we were sort of texting.
Yeah. I don't know if either of them hit like their top moves. I get the feeling that they're going to maybe have another match down the line, and they'll probably go all out. But I still don't think that holds back that they still had like a 7 out of 10 match. I still think this was a fantastic match, and it was great to see Taya back to what she calls home.
I agree, and I think the post-match interviews, as we spoke about earlier, that she was very clear in that she was at home. She was at home with the Impact locker room, being with it, wrestling. She was glad to be back and all that kind of stuff. She was certainly saying the right things.
You can see it in her face. You can see it in her eyes that she was just happy to be back there.
She was happy to be with friends that she built up those friendships. I think it's great to see her back, and I think we're going to see a bit more of her, which is going to be great. We definitely, I think we might even see another match between her and Diana. Maybe at like you say, at the next special under Siege.
It's a week, the 7th, and it's a 7.5 away, is it?
About 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you could see them build to something like that over the next couple of weeks, over the next couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And the TV tapings, you never know. We then get a Gia Miller interview backstage. She's interviewing Knockouts World Champion Tesha Steeles ahead of her first pay-per-view title defense against Rosemary. Steeles sends a warning to the Demon Assassin and vows to claim victory. Again, for me, one thing she's starting to excel at, Tasha, is her promos. I've not been quite as convinced in the ring. I think there's still a little bit of room for improvement with her in-ring work, as we'll talk about in a second, because I wasn't 100% convinced on the title match, so we'll talk about that in a second. But she's certainly improved on her promos, and another fire promo, so I was happy with that. We then move on. We've got Trey Miguel versus Mike Bailey versus Ace Austin for the X Division Championship. Another banger of a three-way. You know how much I love a three-way, Mir, don't you? You love it. So anyway, here's a quick run. Here's a quick rundown on that one. So Miguel and Bailey take turns dishing out punishment to Austin in the early going. Austin trips up Bailey on the handspring attempt, but Miguel makes him pay with an explosive dive to the floor. Miguel holds Austin as Bailey takes advantage with a springboard moonsault. Wow. Miguel avoids Ultimo weapon from Bailey and takes out Austin with a sliding cutter to the outside. Now, that sliding cutter wasn't as perfect as I've seen him do that. He didn't quite get a good slide on that, but it was still cool. Bailey soars with a spring.
The way that he I can't think of the word.
Adjusted.
Yeah. Made it look even better.
Yeah, he adjusted perfectly. It was so I was pretty happy with that. Bailey then soars with a springboard moonsault to Austin. Miguel is next to fly as he hits a running Hurricane Ronda, taking Bailey all the way off the apron to the floor. That for me, that combination there between the three of them, for me, was the combination of the night in terms of like athleticism, impressiveness. That was incredible. Bailey then connects with the Ultimo weapon on Austin, but Miguel breaks the pin attempt. Miguel hits Bailey with the Meteor, but Austin pulls the referee out of the ring. Austin spikes Miguel with the fold. Ooh, it was a badass fold too, to win the match and become the new X Division champion. So there we go. Ace Austin wins. We get a new new X Division champion, Ace Austin.
It's been a bangorama.
Three times. Triple X, baby. Triple X Division champion. Now, for me, this is a great match. I loved this match. This really reminded me of the X Division of the old. Chris Daniels, AJ Styles, Amazing Red. It was just like, wow, this is the X Division. This is what X Division three-way should be. Very exciting match. I was totally engaged the entire match, and as I said, I think it had the move combination of the night with we talked about it just now. The Hurricane Ronda thing and all the rest of it. It was just amazing stuff. What were your thoughts on this one, Steve?
Yeah, like you said, this was easily for me match of the night, and these three meshed together so well. They had instant chemistry. Trey for me was the standout, but it was by like a split hair. It was so hard to pick, and. Again, credit to commentary, picking out the small things, like saying Trey is the joint fifth longest reigning champion, which added that extra bite to this match by saying it'd be that much credible to take it off of him. And after what we saw in the main event, is the fold now one of the most protected finishes?
Possibly. I don't think he ever loses with that, does he?
No,
the pin's only been broken up. Hardly anyone's kicked out of it. I think
that's what I mean. Yeah,
but I don't think else really has.
Yeah, it's pretty protected. It's got to be. It has. It's definitely a protected move. But yeah, so really, really, really good match. And I know you enjoyed this one, Joe, as well, didn't you? What a great T-shirt, by the way.
I know. I loved this match. I have to agree with Hakeem and Mira saying, this is by far one of the stand-up match of the night.
Yeah.
After the main event, or with the main event itself. Ace Austin winning was a huge shock to me. I thought if Mike Bailey wasn't going to win, then Trey Miguel was going to retain this. But when the commentary dropped a hint that Ace Austin had lost at Rebellion twice, part of me thought if that's the case, then Mike Bailey's definitely going to win this match. I still ruled out Ace Austin completely for actually winning this match, and I'm so glad I did, because of the surprise of him winning just added to this match even more. And it was so exciting as it was already. So seeing Ace Austin pick up the win just blew my mind. And Trey Miguel definitely was overall was the standout wrestler of this match. Mike Bailey and Ace Austin were really, really selling everything he done really well and promoting what he'd done after the match online, saying, "You check out some of the stuff this guy's done. It's fucking incredible. And tell us this isn't the best match of the night." They weren't putting themselves over as much. They were putting Trey Miguel over. Given how he's lost his grandmother and his mother over the last 4 months. So this was a pretty heartbreaking moment as well to know that Trey Miguel's gone for all that just to lose it all to Ace Austin of all people, who's been an absolute pain in his ass since Ace Austin's come into the company.
I bet he couldn't believe it.
But Ace Austin's he's already defending this championship elsewhere, and he's only just won it, and his ambition is to defend it in another company he's going to already. He's taking his title everywhere, and Ace Austin winning is hopefully going to lead to him and Mike Bailey having a rivalry. I'm torn between whether he goes for option C after Steve Macklin is done with Josh Alexander, or does he hold on to the title and go for the longest reigning run as X Division champion and beat Austin Aries' record. I personally want to see him beat Austin Aries rather than go straight to option C. I think Ace Austin he's with the company for at least two more years. He's got the talent, he's got the ability and the charisma to go over a year as X Division champion and make it every match look fucking brilliant. He's one of the most professional wrestlers on the roster, and he's only in his early 20s.
Yeah,
25 to be exact, my friend.
I'm still waiting for that moment when option C comes along and someone says, "No, the X Division means more to me currently," and turns option C down.
Yeah.
And no one has done it. No one has done it yet, and so far, option C has a 50% success rate.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But there you go. We'll have to wait and see. Can I just say a quick thank you to Courtney and Violet for obviously popping up those lovely super stickers. We really appreciate it, guys. We really do. It pays for a nice coffee later. We'll have a nice like Costa coffee or something. It'd be nice.
Oh, not even that because inflation's so bad.
So we then get Honor No More. They lay claim to the Impact World Tag Titles in the 8-team Elimination Challenge later on tonight. We then get the vignette of coming soon EGV. Most people speculating this is Sammy. I got no idea what EGV means. I've been racking my brains to try and figure out what EGV stands for.
I do.
You do?
You've got an idea?
Yeah, I do.
Go on then.
Each of them are letters of the alphabet, and the letters of the alphabet equal the date that Under Siege is.
Really?
Yes. I don't know what the binary code part of it decodes us, but
apparently the binary code.
Binary code spells Sammy, doesn't it?
Yeah, so say it has something like Sammy Callahan's coming back at this time or something like that, or you're on notice or something. But the EGV is the date that Under Siege is.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah. 5/7/22.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I'm down with that.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that if Sammy's definitely coming back, I'm hoping he has. He doesn't need it, but I'm hoping he does have some people coming with him because his first target is probably Eddie Edwards and Honor No More. And depending,
there we go. Jay's got it. There as well.
Yeah. It cannot come. He cannot come alone. He's got to bring some brothers with him.
Yeah, but someone who's not going to be coming is John Moxley because the Switchblade conspiracy is out of Impact Wrestling and AEW sites for a reason.
Yeah, and like something else, like if you look at OVE, 3 letters, You look at
Yeah.
ICU 3 letters, EVG 3 letters. So it kind of works that it is Sammy, and it would work that it is a kind of it has two things. You feel like it has to be a group, but then at the same time, Impact is flustered with factions and groups right now.
Well, not necessarily, because you don't know how long Bullet Club's going to last. You don't know how long Honor More is going to last. So
that's what I mean, though. If you bring another one in, do you want one of these ones that we've got to go away?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we just don't know, do we? But what I do know is that we've got a brand spanking new world champ, and his name's Josh Alexander, and he's here. He's here. The new world champ is here with us. Hello, everyone. I just thought I'd pop back and say hello. Anyway, that was done in an Irish.
Well, it's an Irish.
But what will be good is seeing Callahan back. That is, it's interesting. Josh was on his hit list though. That's interesting.
Yeah, because he's a world champion.
Why? Because no, I know, but I was surprised that Moose was on his hit list, considering Moose and Morrissey were the ones that broke his leg.
Yeah. He'll go for Moose anyway, because he said all along that he's going to go for Moose regardless.
I think Moose is gone for a little bit.
Yeah,
I think Moose is gone for a little bit. He needs to heal, which is again another reason why he lost.
That's an interesting one. Jake something would be an interesting one.
I got a funny feeling he's going to AEW, but we'll see. He's another one that's been pulled from a New Japan show.
Ooh.
There you go. So anyway, that said, we then move on to the Jonah versus Ishii match. We're doing quite well, guys. We're 56 minutes in. We're doing good. So yeah, the Jonah Ishii match, it doesn't really have any kind of connotations at all, really. It's just sort of kind of a put together match. Kind of a bit like a sort of kind of dream match. You knew it was going to be a good one, but no real sort of build to it. So let's go with this one then. So we got Jonah runs through Ishii, then begins to wear him down with a headlock. Both men exchange strikes in the middle of the ring as Jonah gains the upper hand. Ishii attempts a German suplex, but Jonah backs him into the corner. Ishii can't get the big man up on his for his signature brainbuster. I'm not surprised. And Jonah continues to assault with a power slam. Jonah repeatedly drives his shoulder into the solar plexus of Ishii, followed by a belly-to-belly suplex out of the corner. Ishii chops Jonah down as he begins to target his knee. Ishii uses the momentum of Jonah coming off the ropes to connect with a German suplex. That was awesome. Ishii hits a big clothesline for 2. Jonah connects with a thunderous Jonah bomb, but it's not enough to keep Ishii down. Of course it's not, because he's the pitbull. Jonah spears Ishii, but crashes and burns on the follow-up. On the follow-up to Tsunami Splash. Is that what they call it?
The Tsunami.
It is, isn't it? The Tsunami
Yeah,
Splash.
Tsunami.
In an incredible display of strength, Ishii gets Jonah up for the brainbuster to win. Are we surprised at this one?
Yeah, I am.
So am I.
I was to begin with, but after thinking about it, I don't know if I am.
Yeah,
because it's one of those things where Jonah's been on an absolute tear, and there's only so long before that happens, and he's gonna have to go for the world title, and obviously with a new world champion in Josh Alexander. Josh already has a victory over Jonah. So you feel like the next time they meet, Jonah will have to beat him. And if Jonah now gets another victory, it's like, well, there's only one person left, and that's got to be the world champion. And you feel like next time he meets Josh, he's got to beat him. So someone has to get a victory over him to stop him getting to that world title.
Yeah.
I guess. Or maybe Jonah's gone.
I don't know, because we thought that when Josh beat him, and he's still here.
Yeah, that's true. He's been getting a lot of promo time as well, hasn't he? They've been doing vignettes and stuff. He has stated very much on interviews that he enjoys working for Impact Wrestling. So hopefully he's going to take an extension
I think it'll be. I think it'll be
as far
a
as I was
Japan
aware,
glory.
as far as I'm aware, though, his contract as it was up at Rebellion. So it'd be interesting to see whether he does get that extension in. I think. Hopefully he does. Hopefully he does.
I think this was a good match, although I think this suffered from being after the X Division title match, because you went from probably the most fast-paced match on the card to the slowest-paced match on the card.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was the trouble. I think he was in the wrong place.
Yeah,
I think if you swapped the triple threat match with Jay White, Chris Bay, and Macklin with the X Division one over, that would have probably helped.
Maybe. What about you, Joe? What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this match was the one that I had the least amount of interest in. Not because the wrestlers are bad, it's just the one that it had the least amount of build to it. And
yeah, I agree with that.
Well, part of me was hoping Jonah would win. Part of me was also thinking because Ishii beat Eddie Edwards, he's most likely going to win this, and he's a Japanese legend coming up, so they're not going to put him at the front of the card. And the chances are he's here to win and go over wherever he goes. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't come up from New Japan. So it was more as the match went on. It was more waiting for it to be over rather than this than really enjoying it. So I'm going to have to watch this match again to really take it all in. But the promos from Jonah to at least put himself over and build his side of the match up were impressive. And Jonah has been amazing since he's come to Impact Wrestling. He even busted Jordan Grace out of a hotel door a couple of days ago. She got stuck inside and couldn't knock the door open, so Jonah just went and smashed it through the other side.
I can't believe that she couldn't have done that herself, to be fair, but there you go.
But I'm taking nothing away from Jonah or Ishii. They're incredible athletes, and to pull that brainbuster off on Jonah, that made me jump.
Yes,
to see how anyone could lift Jonah over their head like that and land a brainbuster almost perfectly cleanly. See, he did, because Jonah is just so heavy, you couldn't drop him straight down like you'd see, like if Austin Aries is doing it to someone who's like the same weight as him, or even Eddie Edwards doing a brainbuster to someone the same weight as him. You wouldn't see it. But for anyone to just lift Jonah and still get the spike part of the brainbuster,
especially at the end of a match as well.
Yeah,
right at the end of a match when
everyone's knackered and drained, you could really feel the energy gone from both of those guys at the end of the match. So you really felt that part of it. It's just all the action in between was a bit of a blur because I just wasn't so invested in it as I probably should have been.
Yeah. This was the sort of start of the lull in the pay-per-view. I felt.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. So talking about the lull, we then move into the Impact World Tag Team title. Is the 8-man elimination. So basically, this is basically how it pans out. So Violent by Defined defend the Impact World Tag Team titles against 7 other teams in an unprecedented 8-team elimination challenge. Okay, 2 teams start. Once a team has been eliminated, a new team will enter. The final winning team will be declared the champions. Now, in all honesty, right, if Violent by Design didn't win this, right, they'd be the worst tag team in history because basically they come in when everyone else is knackered.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. Anyway, so let's give you a quick rundown on this. We'll stop and talk about stuff as we go through, because obviously it's almost like you've got 4 matches
sections.
Going on. It's in sections. So basically, we got the major players versus Jordan Grace and W. Morrissey. So digital media champion Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, now known as the major players, face off with Jordan Grace and W. Morrissey to kick off this match. So to kick off this match, Morrissey delivers a big boot to Cardona as Grace follows up with a powerbomb. Green distracts Morrissey on the outside, allowing Cardona to roll up Grace for the 3 count. Major players defeat Jordan, Grace, W. Morrissey. Now, actually, let's talk about that. After the bell had rung, Morrissey hits a double choke slam on Cardona and Myers. Grice follows up with a dive to the outside. Morrissey is about to put Myers through the table when Cardona comes to his aid. Green delivers a low blow to Morrissey, but he's wearing a cup. So that was good storytelling going on there. Morrissey power bombs Green through the table as the Good Brothers obviously make their entrance for the second match. Now, I thought the best part of this match happened once Jordan and W. Morrissey were eliminated.
Yeah.
I thought the storytelling at this point was amazing. I did love Jordan Grace basically doing the suicide dive through the rope. That was pretty cool. I was disappointed. It didn't seem to last very long, which was a real shame because I think it could have got more out of this one. But like I say, the after the bell antics, I think sort of kind of saved this opening section of the match. I thought it was really good. It was good to see Morrissey was obviously protecting Jordan in that power bomb through the table. As you saw, as he came down, he knocked the ring bell out of the way. So I thought that was this was a really good opening segment in the end, like because of this, not because of what they did in the ring, but because of this bit. What are your thoughts on this section, guys?
You pretty much forget about what happened in the ring, and you just focus on Chelsea Green getting smashed through the table. Yeah. And it's setting up what's next for Jordan Grace, Matt Cardona, Myers, and W. Morrissey. That's really all this whole section was about, which is looking back at it now, that's fine because you didn't even see Jordan Grace get pinned. You just saw W. Morrissey outside dealing with Chelsea Green and Brian Myers or Matt Cardona. Yeah, you didn't even see Jordan Grace get pinned. You just heard it in the background. So but when Morrissey lifted Chelsea Green up and slammed her through that table, his arm blocked the ring bell. I was thinking to myself, anyone who takes a powerbomb from W. Morrissey is got balls of steel. I am terrified of heights, so I can't. I mean,
Christ, he's 7 foot on his own. He's 7 foot on his own, and then they go up even higher.
You've got to be 9 foot.
It's got to be 8 or 9 foot in the air, and then they come down. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's crazy.
Yeah. But no, like I say, I was a little disappointed with this personally because I felt like when these two teams come out, I instantly felt like, well, there's two real surprises right there, and I then felt, well, I think I would have rather just seen the other teams in a tag team match and then had this match as a separate singles tag match.
Yeah, I would have if I was.
Yeah, potentially, but again, maybe that's being set up for another show. That's the thing. Sometimes things are being set up for other shows as well. You got to have a reason for that to happen. But we'll get on. Let's get on through the match, and then we can talk about disappointing. Because I'm with you on this one, Steve. I'm very disappointed on the surprises in this match.
Well, we said, didn't we, that this could be amazing or it could be a mess, and sadly, it was the latter, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we then obviously got Major Players versus the Good Brothers. Now, I'm a fan of the Major Players. I'm not going to say I think they're going to be.
Oh yeah, they are fantastic. I'm an instant fan.
Yeah. So we then get Doc Gallows and obviously Carl to make quick work of the beaten and battered Major Players, taking Cardona out with a Magic Killer and obviously 1, 2, 3. Johnny Swinger and his newest student at Swinger's Dungeon, Dickie Dice, are the next duo to enter the fray. I'm going to go through this one because there wasn't really anything to talk about when it comes to Good Brothers and Major Players. It was done. So we then move on to obviously Good Brothers versus Swinger and Dice. Dice inadvertently punches his own partner, leading to another quick Magic Killer from the Good Brothers to advance. So Good Brothers again take out Swinger and Dice. Now, for me, again, this segment was just very eventless. Nothing really worth talking about. But, apart from being slightly disappointed that, we've just had our 3 surprise entrants and they were nothing to write home about. So it's a bit of a shame.
Can I maybe get everyone's thoughts on what people would think on getting Swinger and Zicky Dice and Morrissey and Jordan Grace and not getting Decay?
I was pissed
Yeah.
off.
Yeah,
was
but
really
I
angry.
was hoping we were going to get Decay, but again, like, they got beaten, didn't they? I think that was the whole point of putting them on the show before, where BBD beat them. It sort of kind of basically took them out. It took them out of this match because they've already beaten them, which was a shame. But I would have preferred Decay, definitely. We then get obviously Rich Swann, Willie Mack to enter. This is one of my favorite teams. I think Swann and Mack are amazing. They deserve a lot more. But this is how this one sort of kind of went down. Swann and Mack soar over the top rope, taking Gallows and Anderson off their feet to gain the early advantage. Gallows shuts down Swann's momentum with a big boot, as always, followed by a delayed vertical suplex, which was pretty cool. Anderson misses the Bronco Buster in the corner. Swann hits here as the Enziguri. I always say that wrong because it's spelt weird. To create separation and make the tag to Mack. The pace quickens as Mack takes Gallows off the apron. Mack hits Anderson with a Samoan drop. That was good as well. Mack does an amazing Samoan drop, doesn't he?
Oh,
Yeah.
Amazing. Followed by the standing moonsault, which sometimes I find is very hit and miss with Willie. That standing moonsault. He sometimes connects fully and sometimes he doesn't, which is a shame. But he gets a 2 count. Anderson then counters a stunner with a spine buster for another near fall. That was really good too. Anderson distracts the referee, allowing Gallows to trip Mack on the top rope. The Good Brothers hit the Magic Killer on Mack to advance. So that was the end of them. So the Good Brothers continue. At this point, we're now all thinking, "Oh God, here we go, Good Brothers all the way to the end."
I don't care what people say about who came in. This was your meat and potatoes of the match. This was the main event of the match. Your Willie Mack and Swann versus the Good Brothers.
Yeah.
That was the match.
I agree.
It was really good. It was really, really good. I love Swann and Mack, the soldiers. We need more of them as a tag team, and I'm sorry, but they deserve a run. They definitely deserve a run. So obviously, we then get Honor No More or OGK are out next to face off with their rivals, the Bullet Club's Good Brothers. So this is how this sort of pans out. Honor No More members, Kenny King and Vincent, obviously provide a distraction from the ramp as Taven and Bennett attack the Good Brothers behind. Taven traps Anderson in a pinning predicament as Kanellis holds Anderson's foot for a 3 count. Honor No More defeats the Good Brothers. You know, interestingly enough, from a storytelling point of view, I mean, by this time, obviously, Carl and Doc Gallows are spent. They've done their job. They've done their job. They had the banger, the meat and potatoes of the match with Willie and with Willie Mack and
Rich
Swann. And it was time for them to depart. So we then get
but it still plays into the Bullet Club and Honor No More, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Of course. Yes, of course, definitely. But you know, at this point the Good Brothers are like done, aren't they? Honor No More, OGK are coming out fresh. So anyway, so once that's done, we then get Heath and Rhino, the next team to enter the 8-team tag team challenge. And again, Maria Canales provides another distraction from ringside, allowing Honor No More to gain the advantage. Taven hits a twisting neck breaker. That was cool on Heath. After several minute beatdown, he hits Bennett with a clothesline, allowing him to make the tag to Rhino. Bennett attacks Rhino from the apron as Taven follows up with a springboard kick for 2. Rhino gores Taven to score the victory. Now, you say that Mack and Swann, you know, was the meat and potatoes. I have to say, I thought this section as well was really good. Like OGK are outstanding.
Oh, they are.
They're an outstanding tag team. I can see big things for them if they stick around. So
definitely.
Obviously, the final team now enters, being the champions, Violent by Design. Eric Young and Rhino are down following a double clothesline. Rhino makes tag to Heath, who goes on the attack. Heath hits the big jumping kick on Young for 2. Heath connects with the wake-up call. But Diener puts his foot on the ropes to break the pin. Heath takes Young off the second rope with a power slam, but this time it's Doring who breaks the pin. Doring sends Rhino into the steel ring post. Young spikes Heath with a power driver to win the match and retain the Impact World Tag Team titles. This part of this sort of kind of like final matchup I thought was really strong too. Again, what you get when you get the likes of Rhino, Eric Young especially, and of course Heath as well. Not so much Big Joe. I find Big Joe sort of kind of, as much as he's a fantastic wrestler, he's very much a follower of EY. So it's like EY is the, like you say, he is the instigator. He's the designer of the match. And it's very apparent that Joe is just following EY's lead in all of their matches, in my opinion. But then, of course, you've got the likes of Heath, who's like 20-year veteran, and of course, Rhino, who's like a 30-year veteran or something crazy. So I think this was a really good ending to the match, and I really enjoyed it. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a great way to end the match, and the whole thing between the Bullet Club and Nolan and Moore, that was a great way to start, like where with the biggest start of the match. That was a great way to carry forward the storyline between those sets of those individuals, and then we move on to the next couple of weeks and see where it goes from there. The ending of the match, this was good because I'm hoping now we see a rematch between Rhino and Heath versus Violent by Design and Under Siege. I know the Briscoes are coming in this soon, but I would rather see Heath and Rhino go one-on-one against Violent by Design before the Briscoes really go anywhere near the tag team titles.
Well, it's interesting you say that, Joe, because obviously we were talking about that promo that they did a few weeks back after they obviously debuted at Multiverse of Matches, and they were talking about having to run through, all the tag teams in Impact Wrestling to get to the world title or whatever. We were assuming that they were talking about this match, weren't we? And I did say I thought that they were talking about like after this match and basically running, beating everybody to get to that title. So I don't think they're going to get a title that early. I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see the Briscoes basically battle, pretty much all of these tag teams that we saw today.
They were Rebellion. The Briscoes were around for like a one and done in the Asylum era, weren't they? So maybe they'll get a shot at Slammiversary.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. I mean that could be interesting, actually, couldn't it? Well, VBD versus the Briscoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be good. And again, it would be a first-time match as well because, I mean, again, VBD are a new team. So Eric Young and Joe Doran versus the Briscoes would be a first-time ever match. That could be a great match for Slammiversary.
Yeah.
And again, I said, it could take all of that time for the Briscoes to go through all of the different tag teams to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I say, when we saw Heath and Rhino as the last two, both of us thought that Heath and Rhino were going to win, didn't they? Given the history that they have with VBD, we thought, well, this is going to be Heath and Rhino's redemption. Obviously, they didn't go for it, but you could have seen them going. You could have seen them winning, couldn't you? But
yeah, it would have been Violent by Design was my choice to win. But if Heath and Rhino would have won, it would have been nice.
Feel good.
It would
feel good. Yeah,
and then Violent by Design could just beat them Under Siege and get results back then, and it would do. Then they could just continue until Slammiversary between those two. But there'll be a good rivalry between those two building now.
I'm pretty sure that what we're going to see is we're going to see the Briscoes running through as many tag teams as possible, leading up to their number one contendership at Slammiversary. I think you're right on this one.
Yeah, but it definitely looks like the tag division is getting a boost.
Yeah,
I agree, 100%. And maybe just do exactly the same name for the Knockouts tag division. You just have to wait and see.
Baby.
Oh baby! So we then get Knockouts World Champion Tasha Steelz versus the Hive Queen herself, Rosemary. So this is a basic rundown of the match. Let me have a little cough a second. before I get into this. Don't want to have a cough all the way through, do we?
No.
So Rosemary goes on the attack right at the opening bell as she tosses Steels across the ring. Rosemary locks in upside down as she does some serious damage before the referee count of 5. Steels slaps Havoc at ringside. When Havoc puts her hands on Steels in retaliation, the referee ejects her from the ringside. Steels unloads on Rosemary with a series of strikes to the chest. Rosemary rises from the dead and takes a bite out of Steels. I love that bit. Rosemary builds momentum with the sling blade, followed by the exploder suplex for 2. Steels evades her in the corner, then connects with the Stratisfaction, which is interesting, for another near fall. The referee stops Steels from using the title as a weapon, but Evans hits Rosemary with a big boot off the distraction. Steels capitalizes with the blackout, but it's not enough. Rosemary sprays Evans with the green mist, which we haven't seen for some time, then spears Steels in the middle of the ring. But this time, it's Steels who kicks out with just in time. Steels hits the mid-air cutter, then dumps Rosemary on her head to retain the Knockouts World title. Now, this is where I'm going to have a bit of a rant. Because, not a rant as such, but as I said earlier, I think Tasha's great. I really do. I think Tasha's great. I've nothing against her at all. I think her promo work has come on fantastically. I just think the last couple of matches she's had in the ring have not really been explosive. You know, they've not really set anybody on fire. My thought on this one was it wasn't a particularly good match. I mean, I would say 5 out of 10 personally, right?
Yeah.
Based on it didn't seem to get going. Now, for me, if you can't have a good match with Rosemary, or seem to have a match that sort of really flows with someone as good as Rosemary, I think you've got a bit of a problem.
Something's wrong.
Something's not quite right. So I don't know. I think either she's. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I just feel that this match was a bit sluggish from Steels, not from Rosemary, from Tasha. I felt it was a little bit sluggish, and I'm hoping that maybe it's going to get better. I don't know, but I almost felt that Rosemary should have won. If I was to look at this match and say who was the best competitor, then for me it was Rosemary all day long. And to be fair, Tasha only really won because Savannah Evans got involved and give the big boot to Rosemary, and that sort of kind of set her on the way to losing, if that makes sense. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one? I'm going to go with Steve on this one first. So I know, Joe, you're a big Rosemary fan, so let's go with Steve on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to echo what you said. Like I said at the, when we spoke about the Jonah and Ishii match, that was like the start of like the lull, and I felt throughout the tag match that it kind of continued through that, and I felt this as well. It continued a bit as well. It kind of lifted a little, but it still didn't bring us up enough. I felt as soon as Havoc got thrown out, it was like, well, we know who's winning this, and we still need to see from Tasha can win a match by herself, like you say. She's winning every match with Savannah basically winning it for her.
Yes, Savannah is basically her secret weapon.
Yeah.
It's a bit like I know that obviously she's playing this heel. She's a heel character, right? But just because you're a heel doesn't mean that you have to get help to win all the time.
It's like EC3 and Bloody Tyrus again.
Yes.
Although
without
Savannah
Tyrus,
Evans is a decent wrestler.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So it just seems a bit weird. I mean, what do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. After as the Ishii and Jonah started the pay-per-view, did dip a bit. It picked up a bit in between the tag team match, which was a bit of a pain in the ass as well. It picked up and then it dropped. It picked up and it dropped. And this match, it just dropped right down again too, which is really frustrating for me as a fan of Rosemary and Tasha Steelz. But like Stu said, as soon as Havoc got thrown out, you knew that it was an uneven playing field, and it was pretty clear that yes, Tasha Shields is going to win, but we know how she's going to win. Rather than Tasha Shields is most likely going to win, but could it be unassisted? You know, she had a pretty decent match with Mickie James when it wasn't a street fight, and when it was a street fight, it was pretty disappointing. Which is it's usually the other way around. And but this, like you said, if you can't have if you can't bring your A game against Rosemary, who's not the fastest competitor and not the strongest competitor, she's just a really solid worker. But if you can't match up to Rosemary, then something isn't right. And I think Rosemary should have won just to push Tasha Shields forward. And then when they have the rematch, Tasha Shields would come back with a lot more fire in her. No,
I think we can safely say that there is a rematch on the cards for this, because
definitely.
Just because the way it ended, the cheating and all that, there has to be a rematch on that. And I mean, as we know, we've got a tag match coming up on Thursday, but we'll talk about it in a second. But I don't know. I'm just a little bit disappointed.
I'll shout out commentary again with Hannafin referencing why Tasha had painted her face. That was fantastic from Hannafin, kind of really layering in that storyline, saying how she was painted up a scar because she killed the Mufasa of Impact. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I loved all of that.
Commentary carried this match a lot for me as well. Commentary,
exactly,
really helped.
How frustrating is that though? Because you don't want commentary to carry the match; you want the match to carry itself, and the commentary to complement it. I just felt, they were lucky. I mean, if Josh Matthews and I don't know, like someone
Don
else, or something was commentating this match, it would have died. It would have died a death. It's a real shame because I like both competitors so much. And I just want it to be a great match, and for me, it just wasn't.
Maybe it is one of those things where you just have two wrestlers that don't match up. You don't know, but
maybe Tasha hasn't worked with anyone like Rosemary before, as Violet's saying in the chat there. I don't know, but I'd be surprised if they didn't have a good old chat before, and sort of kind of like work out how they're going to do it and stuff. But
I mean, they've wrestled in tag matches before, haven't they?
Kiera Hogan was the main one against Rosemary in the tag matches as well. Tasha Steele's never really squared up against Rosemary in the tag matches. She was always against Havoc.
She was. You're right. I remember that. Yeah. Anyway, let's not harp on about the bad match, because for me, this was probably the worst match of the card, unfortunately. And it involved one of my favorites. Two. I like both of them. So, but Rosemary being obviously my, heart. But we then get the next. The Impact Wrestling Comes to You pay-per-view will be on Sunday, June 19th, when Slammiversary returns to its home in Nashville. As we said, we were sort of kind of brief touched on it earlier. It's going to be at the Nashville Fairgrounds. That's what's been rumored. So hopefully that's where it's going to be. So we look forward to that. If the picture of the venue I've seen is real, it looks pretty decent size. I think you're looking at maybe 2,500, 3,000. So could be a good show. We then move on to the main event of the evening, the one that we've all been waiting for, the one that this entire pay-per-view has been built around. Moose, obviously, versus Josh Alexander for the Impact World Championship. Let's face the facts. This is the one we all care about. This is the one we wanted to watch. The build-up for this has been absolutely fantastic, and I'm really excited. So we've got Josh Alexander's family watching, from ringside. But what's interesting about this, we're hit on the entrances. Obviously, Josh comes out first as a challenger, and he's got his little mini-me with him, dressed in the gear. I love the fact they both stood at the top and did the whole thing. And I thought it was amazing. Absolutely loved it. He even gets into the ring, which was so good. I really loved it. I thought this was a fantastic way to kick off this main event. Obviously, Moose comes out looking absolute badass. I think we got to both agree, actually, that regardless of the result, regardless of anything, Moose's entrance is badass, right?
It's so
Oh,
it's so intimidating. It's so intimidating.
It is badass. It's got to be one of the best. It's one of the best in Impact Wrestling. I'd say it's one of the best in wrestling. Full stop. And you're right. Jet was adorable. Courtney, he's a lovely, lovely young man. So it's all good. So let's get cracking into this one. So Alexander immediately takes Moose off his feet as he pummels the champ with repeated strikes. Cough coming. Alexander locks in the ankle lock, but Moose quickly breaks free and retreats to the outside. Moose confronts Alexander's wife at ringside. Alexander loses his cool, allowing Moose to take control with a big boot. Moose drives him into the steel ring post. Alexander hits the ropes, but Moose takes him off his feet with a high drop kick. He's badass at those high drop kicks as well, Moose. Moose traps Alexander in a powerbomb position and whips him into the steel guardrail. Alexander flies back Alexander fights back with a relentless flurry of kicks to the head. There's a loud thud as Alexander hits his signature running crossbody to the back of Moose. Alexander connects an impressive 10 motherfucking German suplexes on the big man. Again, shades of Kurt Angle. We could talk more about that later. But 10 German suplexes. Moose counters with a C4 spike into a back body drop, then hits Go to Hell for 2. Alexander avoids a step-up crossbody, then locks in the ankle lock once again. Moose desperately grabs on the bottom rope to break the submission. Bitter rivals exchange chops in the middle of the ring. They were loud. Moose tells him to stay down, but Alexander refuses. Moose hits Uranagi, but Alexander powers out at 1, which is very impressive. Alexander connects with the C4 spike on Moose, gets his foot on the bottom rope. Moose comes back with an earth-shattering superplex. Alexander counters the spear into a Styles clash. Boom. Haven't seen one of those for a long time. Then locks in the ankle lock again. Again, the way he sort of kind of rolls into that was very reminiscent of Kurt Angle again. Moose goes low as the referee is distracted by an exposed turnbuckle. Now, the way that they exposed these turnbuckles was seamless.
Yeah,
absolutely seamless. There was no pulling. There was nothing. They just came off. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Moose drives him head first into the steel, followed by a thunderous spear. Alexander somehow kicks out with 2. Moose hits the buckle bomb into the exposed turnbuckle. Alexander counters another spear, then hits the C4 spike to win the match and become Impact World Champion. Now, amazing match. Obviously, we end with Josh's family entering the ring, celebrating. Obviously, the show goes off air. But talking about this match, okay, for me, what I said to you before, I think it was you, Steve, I said before the pay-per-view even started, could you imagine if Josh wins and Kurt Angle comes out at the end? Even if it was just to come out and shake his hand and give him his endorsement, you know what I mean? It would have been amazing, because watching Josh Alexander really is like watching a young Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying, weren't we? As the match went on, everything he was doing was shades of Kurt Angle, more and more and more.
More and more and more. Yeah. The only thing, obviously, other than the Styles clash, which was still, which was just that was cool, and I love the way they did that. Where obviously Moose was going for the spear, and he caught his legs, get him into the start. It was brilliant. The way that they orchestrated that was brilliant. But that's what I see every time I just see like young Kurt Angle with a little bit more. Because don't get me wrong, he's not like
it's not a carbon copy.
He's not a carbon copy, but there's shades of Kurt Angle in Josh Alexander, and it's going to be great. This run, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and to be compared to what I would say, over the years has been one of the best wrestlers in the world in Kurt Angle is a massive thing, and I just see it every single time. But Kurt was one of my favorites, back in the Attitude Era, with Stone Cold and The Rock and all that. And he was one of my favorites, and he's still one of my favorites when he came to TNA. He's got explosive power, technically amazing, strong, fast, all round fantastic performer. But it's interesting. I mean, Violet saying there that is she the only one that found Angle boring? And that's Josh is favorite. Maybe. I guess not every wrestler is going to be your favorite at the end of the day.
no.
But it doesn't stop Kurt from being a great. And he really is. And I'm sure that if Josh is listening to the show, which I know he does on occasion, I'm sure he'd be very pleased to hear us say that compare him to the incredible Kurt Angle. And I'm sorry.
Oh, baby!
I think it's a great thing. It was just amazing. I loved it, and I loved the celebrations at the end with Josh's family. Obviously, Jake coming in the ring with Jet climbing the turnbuckles, which I thought was absolutely adorable. But yeah, no, I thought this was great. What were your thoughts? I'm going to go with Joe first.
This match was an emotional roller coaster, start to finish. I'd watched this on Monday, so I'd seen the end of the match Sunday. That brought me to tears. Just seeing the Jay trying to compose herself and stay in character, putting the belt around Josh's waist, and then seeing the entrance and everything on Monday night. Josh and Jet walking down to the ring, tears there. Just so happy to see that happening because it was just so, like you said, so adorable. The match was amazing. Moose went out a fighting champion, made the last 6 months an absolute hell for everybody, and Josh Alexander put him through hell to get what the redemption he's been desperately wanting.
Yeah, I agree.
This has been the best storyline since Bobby Lashley has been world champion, and he was taking over the whole company, winning all the belts and things like that. This is, in my opinion, for a world champion, this has probably been the best storyline, and Moose has been the best champion since Bobby Lashley as world champion. It's been so solid from start to finish with Moose, as it has been when Bobby Lashley had won the last time.
Yeah. What about you, Steve? What do you think?
Yeah, and I'll add to what Joe has said on Moose, because I do feel a little sorry for him, because as solid as he's been in his 6-month reign, he's only had 3 headline matches now. He had one with Eddie Edwards, I think, at Turning Point, then one with Heath at Sacrifice, and now one with Josh at Rebellion. So yeah, he's only in 6 months. We've only seen Moose headline 3 times, which you think is a work.
Cardona at Hard to Kill as well, but it was 1-on-1, yeah.
Yeah, no, but I think even Hard to Kill, Mickey James and Deanna headline, didn't they?
I think they did. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
For a long time, it was the other way around, and then they switched.
So yeah, Moose is a world champion in 6 months. It's only headlined 3 times.
No one other than the world champ Josh Alexander will be headlining any shows from now on.
But so yeah, you got to give him credit for doing what he's needed to. But he's had a great reign, and I have to say that the match. We spoke earlier about how you could feel the heat between Deanna and Taya. You could really feel the heat in this match. Everything we expected it to build up to, it built up to, and everything we expected to see, we saw. And they paid it off beautifully. We thought that we were gonna see someone maybe pop in after the match, and thankfully we didn't. You half wondered if Moose would win, and thankfully he didn't. And they done it all perfectly. They really did.
Yeah, this is one of those matches. It's up there with Tessa Blanchard versus Gail Kim in terms of the emotional impact it has, and from when it was built from start to finish. You know, the whole payoff and the way it, how engaging the match was. It was one. There's no such thing as a perfect match, but this was a perfect match if there was a definition of one.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fantastic match. It was the start to finish. It was set up perfectly, and it was a 5-star match. If I was going to give it a star, it was a 5-star match all day long. Fantastic finish. Great the way it went off air. Good feel good moment. And you're right. If they'd have brought anybody in running in at that point, other than Kurt Angle coming out to endorse Josh Alexander, I think it would have ruined it. But fantastic pay-per-view. Way to end a pay-per-view. It had its downtime. I'm going to give it a solid 7.5 out of 10 for me because I wasn't overly happy with the Knockouts Championship match. I felt that the 8 elimination tag thing had its moments, but it had a lot of downtime in that. As I think, like you said, there was it wasted opportunities. There was wasted opportunities in there. They could have brought somebody in from the outside to be a surprise, definitely. And I'm disappointed in the fact that they stuck a question mark in the Rebellion title, and there wasn't any. Where was the question? What was the question mark?
Yeah, well, mind you,
there was nothing.
There was a lot of other plans, I'm sure, but Tony Khan taking Ring of Honor fucked all that up as well.
Yeah, possibly, but I mean, I just think that I don't think it delivered the surprise which it was saying it was supposed to happen. And there was just a couple of lulls. There was just a couple of lulls in there. So I'm gonna go. It's a solid 7.5, but it wasn't as good as Hard to Kill. I mean, the main event was the best. But yeah, the main event was definitely the best. But was probably the best match of the year so far. But the pay-per-view as a whole wasn't as strong as Hard to Kill.
No, like I say, I was going to give it a 7, but for me, it gets a 7.5 because for me, this time, the commentary was fantastic and the production was tip-top. You know, normally I can take a point off for production, but I had no issues this time with production. I thought it was...
There was no mistakes at all, was there?
No.
It was solid all the way through.
No. So it's solid all the way through. So for me, that 0.5, it gets 7.5 because of production. But it's when you look at it, I gave Hard to Kill 9.5, and it's dropped a whole 2 points from Rebellion. So that's a big drop, really. And I mean, I think I gave a lot of the Impact Plus events 7.5. You know, really, the pay-per-views want to be higher.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. So, you know, it was still a good show.
It's good, yeah. Yeah.
It was a really good show. There was just a few things that sort of kind of just brought a few points down, I think, from me.
Yeah.
I mean, what about you, Joe? What do you think?
Well, I don't like to dish out numbers and ratings, but compared to Hard to Kill and the two or three Impact Plus specials we've had so far, this was a bit of a letdown if you want to compare them to them. The main event was fantastic. The team matches on the pre-show and all the two triple threat matches were really good. And the highlights of the match were the two triple threat matches and the main event.
Yeah, I agree.
The rest of it the rest of the main card was you have to watch it again to really take it in. You know, Jonah and Ishii, I pretty much blanked out most of what happened there. And the tag team matches, most of what happened there after the Good Brothers came in, you pretty much want to blank out because the Good Brothers were in, so they had most of the match. It was basically more about the Good Brothers throughout the entire match than the actual tag team champions themselves, which was
totally
the biggest letdown of the match, really. Was the fact that the Violent Bison weren't in earlier, even if they were in second to last or third to last, and then so they were up against the Good Brothers, and then the on and on, then Heath and Ryan, and that would have made the match a bit better.
Yeah, I agree. Can I just say, Terrence, I don't know what you're saying,
Yeah, I just
who you
used
aiming that
that
at?
as a I just used that as an example. I didn't go in hard on that match. I just used that as an example across the 6 months. If the match has been, you know, sort of storied as that is a big match, then it deserves the headline. But which that match did deserve the headline.
Yeah,
But,
I think what we're saying is that normally you would expect your world champion, your men's world champion, to be headlining. You know, if it's a championship match, that's what you
but
would expect.
if there is a match that has been more, you know, more anticipated to headline, which that one did, then fair enough. But
so it makes sense. It makes sense.
but I think
it deserved its position. It deserved
Yeah.
its main event position on the card.
Yeah,
No doubt.
I think multiverse matches. He was in the middle of the card, which was very odd.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that was our discussion or review of Impact Wrestling's pay-per-view Rebellion. We then move on to talk about what we've got in store for us this week. Of course, we've got the Fallout as well, which happens this Thursday. We're doing well, boys. 1 hour 45. Let's see if we can keep it under 2 hours. Let's see what we can do. So we got the digital media exclusive match, Kenny King versus Crazy Steve. It was a Rebellion dark match. That's available as of now as the exclusive match, and I think it becomes available for free on Saturday, I believe. So make sure that you go and check that one out. I haven't watched it yet. I don't think any of us have watched it yet, but we will do. We will definitely get that one in.
I haven't watched it, but I can guarantee that Kenny King's won.
Yeah, I would imagine. Is a BTI match been released yet? I don't think it has.
No, I did leave a shout out in the chat before we started. If anyone's seen the match for BTI, then let us know. But I'm not sure. Not everyone was on there yet. I'm
not sure. I'm not sure it's been announced yet, but
I'm not sure if there will be one because there's the whole pay per view to go through. So I don't think there will be one for this week because the whole pay per view.
Maybe not.
Maybe. Oh, you never know. You never know. So we then got Impact Wrestling. We've got some stuff advertised for that. So we've got the return of VSK, the most interesting wrestler, versus Bhupinder Gujjar, obviously the newcomer who has been impressing everybody so far. So we're looking forward to that. We then got the return of the Briscoe Brothers, not in a match, but they've got something to say. So they're who knows, they may have an impromptu match or something. They do like to do that, don't they? Okay, Mir's saying that we've got Vincent versus Crazy Steve on the BTI match.
Wow. No,
Yeah,
this
that's
is
it.
battle of the fucked up minds.
Madness.
Like,
Battle of the crazies.
Brothers from another mother.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be interesting, that one. But I'm looking forward to finding out what the Briscoes have got to say. I think this could, like you say, this could end up turning into an impromptu match between the tag team coming out to confront them or something. So that'd be interesting, that one. We then got advertised Decay being Havoc and Rosemary versus Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans. Now, I was saying to the boys earlier that I think this one would be one of those what's the word I'm thinking? This is going to be one of those where I think Decay's going to win this, which will then elevate them to possibly number one contenders again to start with the Influence. So we might have Decay and the Influence going at it again for a couple of weeks, and then maybe we'll see a new tag team being introduced or whatever. I don't know, but I think that's what we could be looking at there. We then got Honor No More being with Eddie Edwards and OGK versus Motor City Machine Guns and Mike Bailey. Whoa. Like,
fuck, that's going to be good.
I think that's going to be an absolute cracker. So don't forget, anyone in the chat, if you were there, let's not say anything. But I think that's going to be a great match.
Yes.
And then we've got the world title rematch from Rebellion, Josh Alexander versus Moose for the Impact World title. So obviously Moose is invoking his rematch clause straight away. So I guess we'll see what happens there. I'm hoping. fingers crossed, Josh Alexander retains to solidify his win over
If not, we
Moose.
riot.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the card, guys? What are your thoughts?
It looks a hell of a card, doesn't it? It's a hell of a way to follow up Rebellion. It's a few interesting matches there, and this is now obviously the start to build up towards Slammiversary, isn't it? You've got what's the next event? It's something May. Isn't it?
Under Siege is in May, and then you got Slammiversary.
Yeah. So you got the one coming up on the 7th, haven't you?
It's
You got
not
the one
long.
coming up.
Not,
Yeah, it's
when
about a
you
week
think about
away, isn't it?
normally,
The 7th.
normally you'd have 3 weeks. Normally you'd have 3 months in between pay-per-views. This one you've got less than 2.
Yeah, it's coming up on the 7th, and it's
So-
I think it's just
So,
a
yeah,
set of tapings, isn't it?
Basically, you've got this set of tapings, then Under Siege, and then is there 2 days of tapings?
I think so. Yeah.
Which then leads us. I think that then leads us up to possibly Slammiversary.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got Kissimmee, May the 13th and 14th.
Yeah.
So what you've got then is you've got Under Siege on the 7th. You've got a day of tapings on the 8th, which would be 2 weeks worth.
Yeah.
And then a week later, the 13th and the 14th, you've got Kissimmee tapings, which would then lead us up to, I would imagine, because I would imagine that's 4 or 5 weeks worth of tapings there.
Yeah.
So that would then lead us up to Slammiversary. So it's going to be it's going to be a badass pay-per-view. Slammiversary is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I think the build-up's going to be great, and I honestly believe that we're going to see the Briscoes power through whatever tag teams they possibly can to end up main event in Slammiversary against maybe VBT or whoever's
the order they go through tag teams is going to be interesting, because you have to feel the order they go through them will be the order Impact rank them.
Yeah.
possibly.
So Decay are going to be first, and then Swinger and Dice will be first. Decay probably Rich Swann and Willie Mack or Heath and Rhino, depending on where they go now. Then Tavian and Bennett, the Good Brothers, and then down to the champions.
You see, the other thing for me is like you got OGK have beaten the Briscoes in the past, because obviously they were Ring of Honor tag champions at some point. And generally, the tag champions are the Briscoes. There haven't been that many tag team champions in the last however many years, other than the Briscoes. So you would imagine that at some point they possibly beat the Briscoes to win the Ring of Honor title. So that'd be an interesting rematch if that happens.
Yeah.
I want to see. I'd like to see OGK win the title at some point. But again, it's all very much dependent on whether they sign.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Impact are hoping for. The Briscoes to win it and then go into a feud with OGK.
That would be interesting too, and it would be the big 2 fingers to Tony Khan. So you can't have this one.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. That would
obviously
be
we a professional bow. Sorry, Tony, you can't have this. But from a fan perspective, it's 2 fingers or 4 fingers in this case. If you're English, then 2 fingers means so. Oh, if you're British, sorry, not if you're English. That's just me being snobbish now, but still. Well, I'm English after all. It's my duty to be a snob.
I think there's going to be. I tell you what, I do think. I think the next couple of weeks is going to be very, very interesting, and I definitely looking forward to where everything's going to go over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be very interesting leading into Under Siege. Again, interestingly enough, Under Siege has sort of got the camo stuff and all the rest of it, but somebody was like going, isn't that coincidental that, the Briscoe brothers have wear camo and da-da-da. Well, yeah, but Under Siege has always been that sort of kind of...
Yeah, they had that last year.
Steve Blackman was in Afghanistan, so, and Sammy Callahan's coming back out of nowhere Under Siege. So I think that's what the question might have been, is this when we see Sammy Callahan? for Rebellion, but I do think it was more, they had more planned for Rebellion, and then but the way things have gone with Ring of Honor has just turned everything on its head. You know, Jonathan Gresham should have been at Rebellion, but whether it's injury, whether it's due to whatever else, it just didn't happen, and other surprises for it just didn't come around when they should have. You know, we had Ty Valkyrie from AAA and Impact Wrestling, but you know, we could have had more people coming, but they just, for whatever reason, it just didn't happen, which is a shame. That's the biggest hamper against Rebellion, as well as the dip in the matches.
Totally agree with you.
But yeah, it's one of those things as well now, is we've built ourselves. I mean, Impact did put this on themselves as well by putting the question mark there. But if they hadn't, is this one of the things on ourselves now by building ourselves up to expect surprises?
Yeah, we're sort of kind of all expecting, you know, a debut here or there, or this person. And the trouble is, there's so many free agents out there now.
Yeah.
That you're almost expect somebody new to turn up all the time because there's so many of them. But
it's like I enjoyed Bound for Glory much more the second time when I watched it, not knowing that there weren't many big surprises turning up in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Because you don't build yourself up, you know, thinking, oh, so and so is going to turn up, so and so is going to, you know, just go up with a mindset of anything can happen, and then when something big happens, you're more surprised rather than being let down.
I suppose it's nice to still be left guessing rather than being told this is coming this week, this is coming this week. You know, like we get from Bot Post Guy.
We are spoiled for choice, Anna. You're right. That's what I'm saying. There's so many out there that you just don't know who could potentially turn up. Anyway, guys, we've hit 1 hour 56. We need to wrap things up.
Thanks for hanging in.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's been a journey.
Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for staying with us, guys. Definitely. But anyway, guys, please don't forget to head over to the TNI Patreon for exclusive extra content when you sign up. Also, make sure you watch tomorrow night's TNI flagship Impact live review directly after the show is aired on Twitch and, of course, YouTube. Also, the TNI shows are available for all you Listen on the Go fans via SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, just basically wherever you listen to your favorite shows. Just put in We Talk Impact and you'll find it, Total Nonstop Impact. Where can we find you on the socials, Joe?
You can jump onto Twitter, look for at @JOKEmptySpace. Jump onto Facebook or Twitter, look for #EmptySpace, the void, the loop, or into the void or out of the loop, and you'll find me on there. Also on Facebook, look for #DailyGiggle and enter with an open mind, and you just might keep your sanity.
There you go. What about you, Joe? Steve, where can we find you?
You can find me over on Twitter at SimplySteve311 for everything Impact Wrestling related. You can also head over to WrestleBuddy.com to find any Impact Wrestling articles that I post. Normally every Thursday, although lately they've been coming out every Friday. I try to get them up every week, although coming up I'll be posting them a little less regularly just due to time and that. I haven't even been on Twitter very much lately, so yeah, keep an eye out. Maybe every other week now.
Okay, and I couldn't recommend enough reading Steve's articles. They're really good. Joe pops one up every now and again, so you know, keep an eye out for that as well. Make sure you head over to WrestleBody.com under the Impact banner to find some stories of Steve. Like I said, all worth a read. And I couldn't recommend enough that you do so. It's been really good. Please, if you're interested in finding out a little bit more on the Bison, go and check out @LordBison45 on Twitter. That's where I generally do most of my wrestling talk. You will find me a little bit on Facebook, but primarily I'm on Twitter. Please head over and give me a follow. Don't forget to also follow We Talk Impact on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. Don't forget to also head over to the Total Nonstop Impact UK Facebook group. That's been slowly building over the last few weeks. I think we're getting close to 100 people checking that out at the moment. So keep checking that one out, guys, on Facebook. It's the Total Nonstop Impact UK Facebook group. Definitely well worth it.
In the description below.
All links are in the description below. Yeah, make sure you check that out. Please take the time to help us out by moving up the rankings on YouTube by giving us a thumbs up. And if you're new to us and like what you see, then please make sure you click that subscribe button. It's the sort of kind of rounded one, big red. It's got subscribe in the middle. Give that one a little push. And don't forget to give that bell a little tickle, a squeeze, or even a smash to never miss any of the TNI UK and US teams' great content each and every week. Don't forget to head over to, don't forget if you want to support TNI, head over to the Spreadshirt store. And also, actually, I'm not sure, but I think, Jay, if you could just clarify this. I know you're in the background there. Can you just clarify? Have we got a bit of a sale going on at the moment? I think we have. I think there's a bit of a sale going on at the moment on the Spreadshirt store. So go and check that out. Or head over to prowrestlingtees.com/total nonstop impact. Got some great shirts on there. We got a nice selection of shirts on there at the moment. It looks like Joe is displaying one of them. It's got the impacted shirt on, mate. Come on, let's see. Look at that. Stand up a bit so we can see it.
Oh, if I stand up, then you just get my crotch and shot.
Okay, fine. Anyway, there it is.
Guys.
There it is. That's a great shirt. If you want to support Impacted, then don't forget to head over and grab that shirt. It's a great shirt. With all that said, I have been Bison. They have been the Joker, and of course, Simply Steve. And this has been episode 80 of Impacted. Take care, everyone.
Take care, guys.
We're Bison! We are Impacted!